Thanks so much for staying tuned into the number one business channel in East Africa, Smart 24 Business. Remember, at Smart 24 TV, we pledge support for business here in Uganda for the business person, and we mean business 24 hours, 7 days a week. This is the point, and like the name of the show, we look at the points that are making us, of course, get out of those boardrooms and discuss the issues that affect you as a businessman, that affect you as an individual, as a student, as any other individual in the Ugandan economy. And today we are talking about retirement, and we've talked widely about why you should save for retirement. Now you know you shouldn't be riding a boda at 60 years. At least if you saved some money, you can use it to invest and make other young people ride bodas and give you money. Why not? And Ubra is here to tell you how exactly to do that and enjoy your 60s like a pro. Definitely you will do so if you keep tuned to the end of this show. Now, Mrs. Lydia, I'll come back to you straight up to the point of the management of these funds. First of all, we've talked about debt. Sometimes people get to fall into debt, but even besides debt, the utilization of these funds is critical. I've seen a program, I don't know if it's still running, it used to be called NSSF Friends of Benefit. And you could see all these old men who got their retirement funds and used them so well, and they're employing lots of people. They're doing even way more after retirement. You understand what I'm saying? They are doing way more after retirement. And then you have these other sad stories where someone says, I lost 100 million just like that. And they did almost nothing with it. Or sometimes they did something and everything just died down. Share with us some of the things that you think the pensioners out there can do with, first of all, their pension funds when they come. How can they spend this money wisely so that it can benefit them in the long term? And are there, like you mentioned, those annuities, the drawdowns, the medical, those are the kind of products that they can actually leverage on so that they don't misuse their money?
Okay. You're right. There are so many experiences of members who have retired, got their lump sum, and dissipated it in just a matter of years. Actually, research shows that within 3 years, people get their lump sum, however big, within 3 years, they have blown it away. As Mark explained earlier, it's temporary madness. You have never handled so much money in one go. You have been earning your small money per month, but because of that deduction, which has been invested over the years, you now have 1 billion shillings. You have reached 55, you get your billion, non-taxed. It sounds so sweet. Yeah, so it causes...
And NSSF this time is not chopping it.
Nothing. Nobody is chopping your money. It is yours. And now, you can experience temporary madness. What do I do? Where do I start? Now, the sector has some products which actually Mark hinted on earlier. You have the income drawdown, in which case you get your lump sum, your portfolio, and engage a fund manager who will help you. You make an arrangement, a payment arrangement, such that they pay you maybe per month or the period that you have agreed, and you're drawing down on that income. Okay, so in this situation, you're actually involved in monitoring your fund, your portfolio, and seeing how it works. And should you fall out at any point, maybe because of death, the balance, the residue can be passed on to your beneficiaries. Now, the other product in our market is the annuity. Again, you get your portfolio, take it to an insurance scheme, and you buy what we call an annuity. And here, they'll be paying you for a lifetime. They turn it into like a pension, let me say. They pay you maybe monthly or as a plan that you've agreed on, and until you die. That's actually the difference. Here, in annuity, you're not directly involved in monitoring. You just get your payment. You sit back and wait for your money on a month or periodic pay into your accounts. But it's for a lifetime for the annuity. The drawdown is like you keep drawing down, basically reducing the balance of your income. But we also have another product in our market, which is medical cover. We also know that a lot of diseases crop up in old age. Diabetes, pressure, sleeplessness, God knows how many things can happen to us in our health. Now, many schemes, actors have also devised the medical cover. It's a bit like an insurance. So when you get your lump sum, you take a portion and pay for your medical cover. And there are many schemes which provide that. We won't name names, but if you go to the UBRA website, there's a whole list of them and the products they offer. So you can also do your insurance cover your medical cover, so that you know that in old age, I am vulnerable to so many health situations. Therefore, if I have my part of my lump sum going into my medical cover, then I'll be covered for the duration or for whatever disease that I may incur. Again, you go and understand the products that are availed or the products that have been set out by your service provider, your selected service provider. So those are 3 ways. But there are also different ways in which people invest their lump sum. Okay, these are some of the products available. They're sure they're licensed and they are supervised by UBRA and other regulators. But there are also many other ways in which people choose to invest their monies. The most important thing is, if you choose to invest somewhere, your lump sum, make sure that it is a legitimate scheme. Make sure that that area is supervised, that the people who are operating in that area are well known and legitimate, because you do not want a situation where you put your portfolio somewhere and somebody fleeces you. I remember somebody whose story I heard, I'm sorry, but this person got their lump sum and he was convinced by somebody that they could get multiplied dollars, or kunazamu. So they went into black dollars. He took all his money in that pot which they give them, and he waited for the dollars and they never came out. And actually that person died a premature death. May his soul rest in peace. But let's not make such mistakes. There are always people who know that they are retirees waiting and they don't know how to handle their money. There are so many schemers, and those schemers are always waiting for us. They know, this one, he got his NSSF, she got her NSSF, or he has got their gratuity. They are waiting to come and give you advice. Invest here, invest there, do this, buy this, buy the other. Be very careful who you're dealing with. That's why we insist, deal with professionals. Deal with professionals. The professionals in the retirement benefits sector are licensed. So if somebody fleeces you, at least you have a place to go and complain, because UBRA handles all such complaints. So look for the professionals that are very well known, that are very well supervised and regulated, in order for them to advise you on how best to handle your lump sum. Most of these are avoidable mistakes, but that temporary madness sometimes can get us carried away and we make regrettable mistakes. Let's avoid that by working with professionals, working with licensed entities, and being careful, preparing yourself. As I said already, retirement is not an event. It is a journey. It is a journey we walk every day. It is something that comes closer over many years. So when you're nearing retirement and you know that maybe I have 3 years or 5 years, start thinking, in those 5 years, this is what I will be expecting to get as gratuity or as a lump sum. Plan. Have a proper investment plan for your money, because we see it coming. It just doesn't drop from heaven.
Thank you so much. Mr. Lotoke, if you would want to add, especially on some of the common mistakes that investors really do make, especially towards the age of retirement.
I think Lydia has really elaborated, but what I just wanted to stress is that whatever investment you choose at retirement, just make sure you're not going to get stuck with cash flows. I always give an example of you've gotten your 100 million, you want to start rentals. Just ensure that maybe only half or less of that is completing that rental. Because there are instances where someone starts, they exaggerate for you a plan, you reach the ring beam, the cash is finished. At that point, remember, you cannot get you cannot get a loan.
Yeah.
You do not have a salary. So the money you had has gotten stuck into bricks and cement. It's not habitable. So you're basically stuck. And I think that at that point in time, you can die prematurely, as Lydia has already pointed out. Yeah. So you have to be very, very careful with whichever investment and make sure you get the correct advice.
Yeah. Well, let's now, as we get to wind up the show, talk about the establishment of a pension scheme. You mentioned earlier that now the market is more, not market really, when you look at the sector, it's more liberalized and more people can actually get in. What are the requirements therein for a pension scheme to start?
Okay, thank you. I think I will just emphasize again that we have put in place governance structures for the pension sector. We have also enhanced the capacity of the players in all the directions, the service providers, the trustees, and even we encourage trustees to always sensitize members to know, because most times some people do not even know what's happening until retirement. And maybe if you have been following, you could have even maybe added on to what you're contributing if you are keen on what's happening with your benefits. But in terms of the requirements for establishment, each of those either service provider or scheme of trustees has different requirements as per the regulations that govern the licensing of that particular entity. They have regulation for licensing of each one of them, a separate regulation for licensing of trustees, separate regulation for licensing of fund managers, and all the others, and even the retirement benefit scheme. Yeah, maybe just to give us an example, of course, for a retirement benefit scheme, it's always established by what we call a sponsor. For example, it can be this organization wants to establish a scheme for their employees. So the board will obviously pass a resolution to establish that scheme. And then they will also highlight what are they contributing, how does one qualify to be a member. Yes, so those are the things now that go into the trust deed. So having decided all that, now they seek the services of a professional to develop for them a trust deed. And then also, now that trust deed is the first requirement for retirement benefits. Because the constitution is what forms it. It's like the way the NSF cannot be there without the act. Yeah, so basically there are two documents, two ways in which a scheme can be established, either a trust deed or an act of parliament. So those with act of parliament, currently they are only parliamentary pension scheme, NSSF,
public
and
service.
Public service. All the rest. So the trust deeds are the equivalent of those four occupational retirement benefit schemes. Then of course we require.
Do you have a hand in that as you UBRA at that stage, the trust deed level?
We don't have a hand directly, but as I said earlier, there are already predetermined aspects that must come in a trust deed.
Okay.
Yeah. Then apart from those unique things which will be particular to a scheme, so there's already a predetermined things that should cover there. How many trustees, how is it going to be governed? Yeah, basically already part of the things provided for in the regulation. The regulation indicates, list all the minimum things that should be in a scheme's trust deed and rules.
Okay.
So maybe for retirement benefit scheme, there's a very long list under the regulations on licensing of retirement benefit schemes. So if one wants to look at them, they can go on the website and look at the regulations, licensing of retirement benefit schemes, and they will find all the requirements there.
Interesting. Finally, any remarks, Ms. Lydia, to our viewers out there? And of course, I have quite a number that have been able to react to some of the discussion points here. Regan Howard, also seen Wantum Jonathan. They have been very grateful to the show. Wantum is saying that this is a very interesting topic to ponder. And thank you for the presentation. I've also seen Regan Howard here, who asked the question of how much and how many years. So there's quite a lot really to discuss, and I think you've done the show justice. Now we won't have complaints from our viewers that they don't know about when to access their money and what it takes and so on and so forth. But your last word, what would be your last word, especially to the young people? I know there are so many young people who don't believe in this because they feel like they have a whole century ahead of them. They don't know that retirement is actually around the corner. What word of advice would you have for them?
Thank you. Yeah, when you're young, you feel invincible, and you think that the whole world is at your feet, and you have a whole century ahead of you. That's okay. We all feel that way. But know that a time comes when you're no longer young and youthful, and therefore you have to retire. That might be by dint of age or by dint of other circumstances that I talked about earlier. So even if you are young and energetic, capitalize on that opportunity to prepare for the circumstances that are coming ahead. So it's very important that you see life from the perspective of anything can happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about reaching age 55. You may be forced into retirement. You may be a factory worker, and as you're running a machine, God forbid, it crushes your hands. Life changes immediately. So young people, yes, you can be invisible, but there are so many things. Life can deal us so many blows. It's very important to always think about what could possibly be. What if this happened? How would I navigate? We've talked very much about finances, saving, investment, analyzing risks. Now, one of the things that we often forget is the non-financial aspects of retirement planning.
Yeah.
It's important to save and invest and have assurance of cash flow, but it's also important to take care of the non-financial aspects of retirement planning. Think about the retirement that you'd like to aspire to. Is it all about money? What friends will you want to associate with? Who will you live with? Who will take care of you? Where will you live? What will your house be like? Has it been designed in a way that can befit the contingencies of old age? You know, what about spiritual well-being? What company will you keep? Where will you pray from? All these are things that you cannot put money, a monetary amount to, but they are very, very important in retirement. How will your health be? You know, what food will you eat? All those are not necessarily financial aspects of retirement planning, but it's important to take care of them. So as you plan for retirement, it's very good to think about the financial, because largely finances determine the quality of life that we live, but also think about the non-financial aspect of retirement. And it's never too early. Never too early. Start now. You don't know what you don't know, as they usually say. So start now, such that should the circumstances change, you have a fallback position. The other thing that I can say is many of us tend to feel burdened by the fact that we make a mandatory saving to NSSF. 15% of your salary goes to the mandatory. It's not enough. We are told that for you to sustain the quality of life that you have been living prior to retirement, you need at least 70% of the income that you have been earning. So 15% is what we save on a monthly basis, those that are saving in mandatory schemes, but it's hardly enough. If your employer gives you the gift of an occupational scheme, don't hesitate, take advantage, because usually in an occupational scheme, it's voluntary, but you have to put a portion and your employer puts a portion. Young people may think, I'm already saving with NSSF. Why am I putting an additional 10% or 5%? Please, if your employer has given you that chance, they've created an occupational scheme, they are going to save for you, even if it's 3%, take it as a gift. It is free money. Enjoy it. And we also encourage employers, please, create occupational schemes so that there's something additional for your employees. No employer would like to see their former employee looking like a destitute when they've retired.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Lutke. In just a few seconds as we depart.
Yeah, thank you very much. Maybe what I wanted to add, I know I mentioned earlier that we have been focusing on the governance and prudential, but I also wanted our viewers to know that we also focus on the market conduct issues, resolving complaints, and also we do sector sensitization. So sometimes people just need information.
Yeah.
We are always available to any group they may be circles, whichever groups, associations that need any information on how they can start contributing to a retirement benefit scheme. Or if you have any complaint, if you're already a member of a scheme, there's something you see which is not going right in your scheme, we have avenues for submitting a complaint or whistleblowing.
Yeah, wow. Thank you so much. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us all this far. Thank you so much for those of you who have been on our social media. My name is Anthony. We've been with the team from Ubra, and definitely you can check out their website for more information. So until next time, have a very wonderful night. Bye for now.
Smart 24